And pop star Pink, superstar really, Pink, she's come under fire for seemingly mocking Charlie Kirk's memorial. On Instagram, she posted that. Move on to Jimmy Kimmel. We've got Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck joining more than 400 celebrities who condemned ABC's decision to indefinitely suspend Kimmel's late night show following his remarks about Charlie Kirk.
Well, it was short-lived, but it looks like Jimmy Kimmel will be back on air due to 400 celebrities signing a petition voicing their anger against ABC for taking his late night show down. But that's not only it. We see Pink, the famous pop star, had something to say about Charlie Kirk's memorial that she's facing a lot of backlash from. And many more people have been voicing their opinions about Charlie Kirk and that memorial specifically, and saying some very demonic and dark things. But is everything they are saying false? Well, in today's video, we're going to dive into this deeper, and we're going to take a deeper look at all of this. And so with all that being said, let's get into it.
Now is commentator and former Turning Point USA ambassador Lydia Schaefer, also known as the Conservative Barbie. Lydia, let's start with some of the reaction we've had to Charlie's incredible funeral, one of the most impactful and memorable events in modern US history. And I don't say that lightly. I don't think we're going to see anything like it for some time. It was beautiful, but ugly people only see ugliness. And we're going to bring you some examples from pop star Pink to this dude, David Packman, who posted, "The Charlie Kirk funeral is absolutely disgusting, riddled with speeches that only dial up the temperature. Stephen Miller's was particularly vile." What's your response to that, Lydia?
Now, before we hear Lydia's response on this, my wife watched all 10 hours of this entire event, and I was watching a majority of it. I was in and out of it, but listening to it and hearing it back, I will say this. I was encouraged to hear how much the gospel was proclaimed and preached to millions of people. Not only the thousands of people that were there in the stadium, but also the millions watching all over the world online. I was so encouraged to hear that, and we as Christians should be extremely encouraged. I was also encouraged that the music was Christ-centered. That was another big thing that I was a bit nervous about, but encouraged to hear how Christ-centered the music was. And there were plenty of people like Tucker Carlson, Frank Turk, Erica Kirk. These people just poured out their heart. The gospel was preached and proclaimed by them. It was just beautiful. We saw the powerful move when Erica says how she has forgiven her assassin, her husband's assassin. A beautiful thing. But that being said, there were plenty of guest speakers at this event that didn't need to say a word. They were campaigning, and it was obnoxious. Trump's son speaking was horrendous. Stephen, the individual that they're mentioning, was horrendous. Donald Trump's was horrendous. There were people out there who spoke, and it was not okay. And that's coming from somebody who is a conservative Christian. I vote for Republican for most part. This is coming from somebody who's in this party.
These people are sick. This is demonic. This was a memorial that honored Charlie Kirk in the most respectful way. This memorial brought so many people to Jesus. And I'm blown away that people like this can find a reason to be offended over it, can be angry about it. I saw so many tweets today, not just his. It's sick. It makes no sense.
Oh, Lydia, you're right. I could have picked one of tens of thousands. There are so many, but I've picked a few that have gone viral, like this one from Morgan, who writes, "This wasn't about honouring a young man's life of political service. It was a rally. It was mass conditioning through weaponized faith, with death repackaged as a turning point, a 10-hour stadium revival stitched together from nationalism, the glorification of military enlistment, and biblical martyrdom. This is the machine." It even had pyrotechnics. Lydia, these people are so confused. They don't understand what honouring Charlie meant. They don't understand what he worked tirelessly towards and why the service yesterday was precisely what he would have wanted.
These people are miserable. I've never seen anything like it, and it just seems to be getting worse. I mean, these are the same people that that cried over mean tweets, but now they're glorifying a political assassination. It's mind-blowing to me.
Now, I do agree with Lydia at the end here, where she's saying these are the same people that cried over mean tweets, but now we're glorifying this individual, Charlie, who was assassinated. I do agree with her. The nonsense that is coming from a lot of people, but the pushback isn't all wrong. And we have to be honest with ourselves in that. There were people saying some horrible things that day, campaigning, making it about politics and not about just the memorial of Charlie Kirk. Go up there, share the gospel beautifully, go up there, tell a story about Charlie Kirk, but let's not talk about politics. Let's not cause more division. And sadly, there was more division caused.
Do you see any healing with these people? Because we've had so much talk of unity, about turning down the temperature, coming together, and yet I am seeing just this doubling down from elements of the left. And sadly, it's not just a fringe element. There's many mainstream Democrats who are also echoing these sentiments.
Great question. I'm curious. I mean, this is not what you just asked, but I'm curious if there were any prominent Democrats yesterday that attended the funeral. I mean, it's a nice thought to think that we can bring people together. And I will say on social media, I have seen a handful of people that claim to be on the left say that they are leaving the left. They're leaving that side. They finally have seen the light. So that's reassuring to see some of these people just on TikTok and Twitter. But for the rest of them, I think that they're happy in their misery. It's disgusting and it's demonic. I'm telling you, I think these people have demons in them. And I am truly praying for them that they will see the light, but I'm not so sure it's going to happen.
Now, Lydia is saying she just believes all these people have demons in them. She makes a valid question when it comes to, was it anybody of high status in the Democratic Party at this memorial? I didn't hear of anybody. I didn't see anybody. That would have held so much weight for them to come to this memorial. But at the end of the day, we have to understand that unity is not going to happen. We live in a broken, fallen, and very sin-filled world. And wickedness is all around us. Hate is all inside of us. And the desire to see unity is something we should all be praying for. But we need to understand the assassination of Charlie Kirk is not going to bring parties together. It's only going to cause more division. And that is heartbreaking because we, as born again believers, should absolutely stand firm in our faith and pray for unity and pray that, hey, listen, let's just be honest with what's been going on and what's being said. The wicked things of people praising this man's death is demonic, is absolutely demonic. But we also have to be honest with ourselves, and there are demonic things happening on the right. There are demonic things that are being done by individuals who are in power on the right, and they're just covering it up with Jesus, with God, to make themselves seem like they're religious.
They see the light, and pop star Pink, superstar really, Pink, she's come under fire for seemingly mocking Charlie Kirk's memorial. On Instagram, she posted that Pop Goes the Weasel should have played at the service. And Lydia, she deleted that post after getting a backlash. What can you say about that?
I actually haven't seen that. And I've never liked Pink. And this just confirms why. I missed that, actually, and I'm glad she deleted it because there's way more of us than there are of her. So she should have taken it down. She looked silly.
Lydia, let's move on to Jimmy Kimmel.
Now, before we see the news on Jimmy Kimmel and how he got back on air, what Pink said is absolutely disgusting, despicable, and doesn't need to be said. Listen, you can have your reservations against the memorial service. You don't have to love everything that was done at the memorial service. Like I said, there are things I loved and there are things I didn't care for at all. And that's being a very honest viewpoint. That is bringing an honest viewpoint. But to sit here and say that they need to play the song Pop Goes the Weasel, Pink just needs to be canceled. People need to stop listening to her. The individuals who are praising this, who are lifting up the death of Charlie Kirk, need to be canceled. That is a fact.
Move on to Jimmy Kimmel. We've got Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck joining more than 400 celebrities who condemned ABC's decision to indefinitely suspend Kimmel's late night show following his remarks about Charlie Kirk. They signed a letter penned by the American Civil Liberties Union calling for the protection of the constitutional right to free speech. And just hours later, it was announced that the show would be returning. Lydia, I don't know, perhaps those celebrities put some pressure on ABC, but it's kind of amusing to see all these people who never really had anything to say when people in their industry were being cancelled, but now they care about the First Amendment, they care about free speech.
Right. So they cried and he got his show back. What about the countless conservatives all through, 2021, 2020, who had all of their social media accounts banned? They cried that it was a private company. Exactly. They can do whatever they want. But now someone's employer let them go because they weren't performing well. And celebrities get together and sign a petition and cry about it. Typical.
It is, and they somehow find a way to play the victim, even in this tragedy of Charlie Kirk losing his life to an assassin who seems to have been brainwashed by this hate from this absolute indoctrination.
Yeah, and I mean, they make good points here, guys. I mean, they are just crying about it. It's very hypocritical on these 400 celebrities side, the left side. It's very hypocritical. So that's something that's been really bothering me with this entire situation. But something else that needs to be addressed and people need to call out. Charlie Kirk is being called a prophet. He is not a prophet. Farthest thing from it. Charlie Kirk, people are saying, we need to be Charlie Kirk. We need to be Charlie Kirk. We need to stop with that language. I understand what people are saying, but it's not what would Charlie do. It's not we need to be Charlie Kirk. No, it's let's be more like Jesus Christ. Why Jesus Christ? Because he is the perfect one. Nobody else is perfect. Charlie Kirk is imperfect. Jesus Christ is perfect. We don't need to look like Charlie. We need to look like Jesus Christ. People are idolizing Charlie Kirk, which needs to be called out. He is becoming a golden calf that people are creating. Individuals are lifting Charlie Kirk up to a status he doesn't belong. Charlie Kirk was assassinated for his political views. That is what happened. This was not an attack on the church. This was an attack politically. Yes, Charlie Kirk had Christian background. Charlie Kirk was a man of faith. And that is beautiful. And that is encouraging. And that drove his views on abortion. It drove his views on marriage, sex, all of those things. But ultimately, Charlie Kirk was assassinated for his political views, not his Christian stance, his political views. That is why he was taken out. And that is heartbreaking. We live in a country in America where freedom of speech is something that we should have a right to, where we should proudly stand on. And a man's life was taken because of it. So let's just be praying as the body of Christ for unity. Let's be praying that this revival that you kept hearing about at this memorial service that has happened is actually genuine, that there is a genuine revival. Or is this just a quick spark of a flame and is it going to die down? So let's be praying for continuous Erica Kirk, Tyler Robinson, the one who was the assassin. Let's be praying for the party on the right, the party on the left. Let's be praying that truth would be exposed and brought forth. And let's just be praying that unity would come, because we do live in a fallen, broken, and sin-filled world.